Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Production Line, where in the previous episode we pretty much finished with the previous factory. I felt like I'd sort of painted myself into a corner a bit, and if I wanted to upgrade it, I either have to just make another production line entirely, or I'd have to deconstruct everything and rebuild it again. And if you're gonna, like, just start afresh with another production line, might as well do it in a new factory, so that's what we're gonna do today. It's a new game, and I'm gonna go straight for the biggest one. It doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between these two. I had a look at them and it's like 26 on both and then 42, 56, which is a little bit longer overall. I think there's more extra space though, looking at the pictures. It looks like there's a couple of little ones here, but then there's a couple of crazy big like expansions here that make it by far the biggest one. Same starting cash though, but so this one might be a little bit more difficult to start because you might have to pay more rent on the factory or whatever. But yeah, we'll go straight for this one and we'll see what we can do with this. Here we are. Yep, loads of extra look at all this stuff. There's upgrades on upgrades. I wonder if you gotta buy them in order, or whether you can just be weird and buy like this section here and nothing else. Which isn't actually a bad idea, because then we could put all our science stuff in there. Also, I'm sort of taking in the scale of this because this here is bigger, I'd say, than the starting factory and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of expansion room here, which was what I was hoping for. And the idea is that I'm just gonna like try and use as much of this space as possible to build a stupidly large factory that can make like 10 cars a second or something like that, by having everything nicely separated out. That's weird. If we've got a one block gap here because it's gone weird. I think maybe that's intentional, maybe that's not. Now that would be an issue with the way the walls work, because this one has to show a wall here, but then that means you can't see the square underneath. Weirdness. Alright, well this is what we got to work with. Let's see where the imports and output things are. Loads of imports over here, one export here. One there. Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping I could find two in one place, just because that'd be a nice thing to have when we have a larger scale production line. Though maybe two exports over there and two over there, and anything else like that. Two over here. Okay, so once we start expanding out, then it makes like it's easy to do the scaled up stuff, because it seems like there's a lot of pairs of exports once we get to there. For the moment, we shouldn't need more than the one. We're just going to be setting up basically the same thing as we did in the first factory. It's not going to be that much different. Right, let's get the thing open. And I think should we build this backwards? Just go out from here. We'll try and keep it sort of compressed into this area here, so that we've got a bit of room in other places to start working on larger scale stuff. But we also want to make sure that other cars will have access to this export in case we change our mind about things later. We'll just make sure that there's a bit of a gap between each section, I guess. So we'll put in an export, and then a quality check here, then electronics here. And yeah, we can't expand any of this stuff yet, but that at least makes it sort of easier to deal with in the initial bits. Accessories, engine, paint, fit the body, the chassis, and I think that is all the stuff that we need. So now we just need to connect up the conveyors and so on, including the overhead conveyors. And whoop, that went wrong. And then we'll have something running. Oh, come on, really? What is this? Wasting so much money building nothing. There we go. And then resource. Oh, we need an importer first. There, and then run the conveyors just all along the edge, and then run them across to where they need to go. Oops. Don't want that. Oh, really? It's being weird. And then connect this up, and that is everything, I believe, because there's no equipment required for electronics. So this is, I believe, a functional car factory. Let's press play, and it'll take a minute for... Okay, let's put it at triple speed. Why is it doing the paint first? There's no logic to that. It's like it wasn't the first thing built, and it wasn't the first step of production. It was the middle thing. Did all the paint first. Who knows why. Alright, we got cars coming through, so we can just leave that to go. We might be spending a lot of money on rent, though. That's something to keep an eye on. Look at expenses. Capital investment. Component purchase. Raw materials is tiny. Why is it at the top of it's the tiniest one? What are these sorted by? Who knows? Making slow progress here. That is because the painting takes a million years. Also, by the way, there's been an update since the last episode, and now they've changed how these work. So previously it said the number of the number of seconds it would take if you were going at normal speed for a car to be made. Now it's showing the number of in-game minutes that it would take. And I had a look at the numbers, and I think it works out that like 1 second before is 30 seconds now. So 1 car per 5 seconds will be 1 every 2.5 minutes. And that sort of thing. Also, between episodes, I sorted out a spreadsheet to work out all the ratios and stuff for different car production rates. We'll probably not get into that this episode, but it's ready for when we do get to it. And there's our new vehicle. This can be... Car goes forth. I don't know how they spelled it in Blackadder. I'm gonna go with that one. It was probably this one, actually. I'm gonna go with that. I should probably capitalize it. There we go. And we'll put the price up to... Let's try 50% and see how it goes. Keep an eye on it, make sure we're actually starting to sell them before our money starts to go horribly wrong. I mean, we could just, like, immediately build a bunch of extra stuff, but yeah, we probably can't do that. We've got a second car coming anyway, and the first one is sold, so that's working okay. I think now we should start expanding this. So basically what we're going to start with is we're just going to build, like, what factory we can with this amount of money, and then we'll just leave this to run for a bit, get a bunch of money, do a bunch of science, and then once we got all that, we can start building all the separate individual bits in extra sections of the factory. Right, let me remind myself of the ratios of this thing, because it's all changed now. 14 minutes, 35 minutes, 38 minutes, 30 minutes. So yeah, double up all these to start with, and then go from there is the usual way of doing things. And only once these are quadrupled do you want these to start being doubled, pretty much. And then these ones at the end just will never need expanding. Alright, so an extra fit engine. An extra paint. And an extra fit body. Get the conveyors running to those, and then we'll just have them run straight through to the next step of production. Should not be a problem. That's worked out all fine, and then bring the conveyors across. Like so. And I think that's all of them. Now the importer might start to struggle at this stage. There's a lot being requested. Hopefully it'll calm down in a minute. Yeah, it's looking alright. It keeps, like... There we go. So it is managing to like, get through all its jobs. The issue starts to come when you have an importer that just always has pending items. So yeah, the insufficient resources are just flashing up for brief moments, it looks like. Which is nice. So we've doubled our car production. Straight up, I believe. So that's nice. Cars are being sold. Still got plenty of money left. I think we should expand this a little bit more. We probably can even just, like, not have stuff merge like we've done so far. It's paint that's limiting things. I don't think, though, that we're going to get to the point where we want to have, like, 5 paint things and 4 of the other things. I think we're just going to go for 4 of these, 2 of these, and then 1 of everything else. And that will be all good. So let us do that. And hopefully we can afford it. I think we can. Maybe. Money's going up anyway, I think. 2 extra paint stations. 2 extra body stations. And a chassis station. And we could just have this, like, here. Don't have to necessarily merge it with the other stuff. We'll leave a little gap there for something. I don't know what. Future expansions that split up the chassis assembly can go through there or something, if we do it that way. we can connect this up like so. Keep an eye on the money. We've still got plenty. Run these along. Oh, that one's gone wrong there. Sort that out. There we go. And then we need to fit accessories. And we'll just put this here. And then connect this. Merge this. And then merge this. Oh. Yeah, that's worked fine. Now with the resources, I'm concerned that this will just not be able to deal with that. So I think I will bring resources in from somewhere else, such as over here. Porter. Run the conveyors out. Straight out to here. How far should we run them? We'll run them to here and then we've got a little bit of clearance. Run them down to there and then start to connect all these up. Deal with this weirdness. And then that one there. And then we could merge these, but I don't think there's any real reason. Oh, I've missed one. Where's the stockpile? There it is. Run it like so. Yeah, there's no real reason, I think, to merge these two, because they're both working at equal speeds. Because they're servicing an equal amount of areas. So yeah, this is starting to build up a bit. And also, this one's limiting things at the moment, which is weird, because it shouldn't be, but it might be an insufficient resources issue. I mean, there's 13 different steps in this, or whatever it is, so... like, it's spending half a second with insufficient resources each time would indeed be enough to make it slower than the paint stations. That's probably the problem we've always had, because I was always a bit confused by that, but that will be, I imagine, what it is. And that's fine. It makes very little overall difference, I think. Okay, hopefully our money will start to improve. It's not looking too healthy at the moment, but we've got a few cars in the showroom. Let's have a look at the overall. Let's see which one's which. Expenses, profit. Oh yeah, profit is currently not high enough, but we may still be including our expenditure from building some of these structures. So hopefully, once we have an hour past where that doesn't happen, everything will be all right. But it's taking a while for the numbers to come through. I think it is going up. It's just a little bit slow. It's going to take some time. But yeah, things are getting to the end of the lines now. All of the lines should be contributing to the car production. It's a bit of a build-up there for a second. Only for a brief second, though. Probably doesn't really mean anything. And this is... well, if it wasn't for the fact that things were arriving simultaneously, this would be easily dealing with stuff and preventing any queuing. As it is, it makes no difference, I think. Yeah, the cars are through by the time the next ones arrive. Also, they're not quite synchronized, which is weird. They arrived at the same time a minute ago, and then they arrived separately this time, and this time... yeah, they arrived at the same time again. That was weird. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. This is building up nicely. Everything's looking good. Okay, so we have our basic car factory, but this is just our money engine, so that we can afford all the future stuff. We've reached 1 million again, so we're definitely making progress money-wise. There we go, that's much nicer. So yeah, we can just have this run for a while, and we'll get a bunch of money, and we'll be able to build something much bigger, which would be nice. And I think this is where we'll put our science lab, just keep them nice and out of the way. I don't think there's any reason to have a little side bit. I mean, there are certain reasons. I mean, it depends entirely on how your production line works. But what we've got to remember this time round is to account for the fact that in future we want to be assembling all the components ourselves. So we got to make sure that we don't cram everything into one tiny space and then have it so that we can't actually find any room to build all the manufacture sections for the individual components. We want to be trying to make as much of the cars on site as possible, just importing steel and nothing else. That is the hope. That is the ultimate goal. And so yeah, we want to, like, rather than have it where we go, okay, I'm going to build a factory in this space and then just cram it full of assembly lines, I'm going to be like, okay, so this section here is chassis assembly, and then they get belted around to here, and this is where the body fitting happens, and then they get belted around to here, and this is where painting happens, and then around here, accessories and electronics, and then they get exported there. That's the sort of thing that I'm aiming for. And then there'll be more than enough room, not only for the assembly to be in place, but also all the manufacture of the individual components we need. Yep, definitely good. We can be comfortable that money-wise everything is fine. It's still not, like, I'd like it to be rising a little bit quicker than it is, but it went down there. What did I do? I didn't build anything. Why didn't we make any profit? Did we just not sell it? Oh, this is a new quarter, isn't it? So it's not, it's like, probably already factored in, like, rent and stuff, I guess. Yeah, expenses have plummeted, and it's just that income is just 0 at the moment, so it always improves as the hour goes on, and it adjusts to account for that. I would still like to be making a bit more money than I am. I guess we could put what money we have into expanding this even more. How long do these take? These take 15 minutes. These take 2 minutes, so we'll never need more than one of those. These take 5 minutes, though. But it's 1 step, and this is 4 steps. So if we consider that it's got insufficient resources for half a second each time, then it helps a little bit. So it's probably the case that the ratios are okay, and we could basically add another one of these branches here. And there is enough room for it, so no particular reason not to do it. I'm going to go for it. We're going to expand it a bit more. Alright, let's see. So we'll start with the body fitting. And then behind we'll put the chassis assembly. And then we'll put the painting. Keeping an eye on the money. Money is fine, actually. I just panic about money so much now because of my first couple of attempts where I just kept accidentally spending all the money I had. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Where are we at? We're at fit engine, and then fit accessories goes here. And then we don't need to build anything else because the ratios should be okay. So we'll get the conveyors. I don't know how well the importers will deal with this. They might struggle a little bit. I think they're already importing to some areas because it just so happens that I'm building them where I put the import conveyors. There we go. That's all the conveyor belts. Now we just need these lines here. Let's do another line running alongside here. Connect this up. Connect it up all the way to the other side so that there's a couple of options for where items can go. Make a nice grid sort of thing. Also, now we should connect these up because this one's got twice as much work to do. So where should we do that? Oh, we've got a line running along here. Let's just carry it onto there. There we go. And then at the other end, this line here can carry on all the way to this end and then go there. And we'll merge a couple of these lines just to give the items plenty of options, and then hopefully we won't have any issues with one conveyor being overtaxed too much, one importer. But it might be the case that just happens anyway. Yeah, this isn't looking too great. Maybe it'll stabilize, maybe it's still like recovering from having to deliver all the components to set these things up initially. Or maybe this is a permanent thing. I mean, there's a lot of assembly going on here, so yeah, I think what I'll do is get a second importer and just run the conveyors over to here, and hopefully that'll work. And it's providing some items, but really not that many. This was a thing I had in the previous factory as well, where we had 2 conveyors. They were quite close to each other, and I was hoping that when one got full of orders and wasn't able to deal with them all, the other one would go, oh, okay, I'll pick up the slack. But the main one still ended up constantly having queues running and never getting through them and causing all sorts of issues with insufficient resources all over the factory. And then the other one was like, occasionally I'll help. It's doing a decent job there, but this one is like really struggling, and it's not like, I wish they balanced between them more, but I think it just favors the closer one and then mostly leaves it at that. Oh, but we do have some stuff down here we can use. This will have priority in certain things. It's actually connected up to here, and then it's nicely involved, and hopefully that will take the strain off this one here. We could probably even get rid of that one again, which means it was just a waste of money, but it'll cost us. I don't know if there's maintenance costs on these things or not. It might be that now it's in place, there's no reason to get rid of it. We shall see. Maybe. But there we go, that's helping out a bit. And now this one's run down, and so's this one too. Fantastic. There we go. Everything's working okay. This factory is running nicely. Every step is working. I mean, there's insufficient resources flashing up all over the place, but that just seems to be a sort of a bug, really. Because, like, it can't be that they're being delivered the resources in time. It must be it's just insufficient while they're taking them off this and putting them on the car. And really, that should just be instantaneous so that you don't get the insufficient resources flashing up, but whatever. I mean, it affects everything roughly equally, sort of, so everything works out fine there. Bit of queuing going on here. Actually, it's not too bad. But it might slowly get worse. It might end up that because of that, we get queues all the way back through the system, depending on where the other limiting factors are. Few cars in the showroom at the moment, but not that much, so we are selling them nicely. Let's check the money. So yeah, that was our starting cash, maybe. I just don't know if the starting cash is still being shown. No, it's not. But yeah, we started like here, and then we spent a bunch building the initial thing, and then for a while nothing was happening because we were waiting for cars to be made, and then we started to make some money, and then I spent a bunch more, and now we're making money at a significantly steeper rate than we previously were, which is nice. So there's our money machine, and this will fuel all our future endeavors, and we'll be able to make something a lot more efficient than this that actually splits everything up into the constituent parts. But that is all we have time for today. I'm wondering, what I might do is just build like 50 science labs over here, and then just try and blast through all the research between episodes, so that we don't have to constantly deal with the research interrupting what we're doing, and then we'll just be able to completely focus on building the factory in the next episode. But might take a while for the research to be done. Also, I've got to keep an eye on the money, because if I put too many research stations down, I'll burn through my money too quick. So, I'll get back to you next episode, and I'll tell you whether I did that thing or not. So with that, I shall say goodbye, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.